guys have been asking me, is there a strategy that we can trade during London session? What's going on, everybody? It's Ethan here from Garland Trader. You guys have been asking me, is there a strategy that we can trade during London session, okay, that works with ICT and the Judas swing? Now, obviously, we've got the Asian range that's created during the Asian session. And when the London session opens up, there is often a sweep of liquidity. So I've been doing some back testing and I've tested and figured out a new way of trading ICT's Judas swing that I've done with New York session, and I've applied it to the London session. So now you guys can trade the London session with the Judas swing. So I've gone through it with US 30, and we're going to hop in just a second and have a look at how it runs with US 30 on the 1 minute time frame. Just before we hop in, I would just ask you guys to please like and subscribe down below. Let me know below what you guys are wanting me to make videos on, because this was a request from you guys. You guys requested this from me a number of times. A lot of you are in different time zones and you can't trade the New York session. So this is for you guys, and this is because of your suggestions. So please do let me know down below what your thoughts are on the video and also what videos you want to see. So guys, let's hop right in. Remember to subscribe down below, and let's check out this trading strategy that will help you pass your evaluations as well as make profit on your funded accounts when you are trading with prop firms. Okay guys, so we are on US 30, and if you've watched my previous video, it is exactly the same rules as my previous video. Now, all I've done is changed the settings on the indicator. So I use the sessions indicator, which is by a guy called Aura Rocks. Okay, so you go search for Aura Rocks or sessions, and you use this sessions on chart by Aura Rocks, and then you input these settings here. These are the only two that really matter. Tokyo session does not matter. I only have London and New York. Now London is actually my Asian range, and that is set to these exact settings. So input these settings into your indicator and then go to style, okay, and change the color to gray for the Asian session. Well, personally, that's what I have. You can change it to whatever you want, and I have blue for the London session open. Okay, and then you untick Tokyo session, and Sydney session is unticked. So then we have this setup right here. And now what we are looking for is very simple. We're looking for the highest point and lowest point in that gray box, okay? And then we mark that out and we wait for a sweep in the blue box, okay? So once it opens, we look for a sweep, and then once the sweep happens, we look for a change of character, okay? Then we enter on the fair value gap, okay? Now, one thing to remember, that the fair value gap must be on the extremity, okay? And that means it's the furthest away. It's the furthest to the swing of the change of character. And you'll see what I mean in a few examples here in a second. Once the change of character happens, and you need to pay attention with how I do this, okay, we then look for the entry on the fair value gap. Now, there must be a displacement with the change of character, okay? And what that means is that there needs to be a good push when price changes character as well. And it must break character, but that's what a break structure. That's what a change of character is. Once structure is broken, okay, and the previous swing is taken, and we're going to trade this on the 5 minute time frame. You can also use the 1 minute, but it does give a little bit more noise. So 5 minute has proven to be a little bit better when it comes to this London session strategy. These are your rules, and these are your entry criteria. Now, the final thing that I didn't mention is we're going to target 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. So these are your 5 rules, and let's have a look. So this is the first day, And I'm going to go days in succession. We're going to test days in succession. I'm not going to skip any days. So let's see how profitable this is. Okay, so the highest point, as I'm sure you guys would agree, in this gray box is here. We'll see if we get to the lowest point, which is down here. I believe there's also an indicator that will mark these zones out for me. I'm still working on that. But for now, we just have the time zones marked out. So we're waiting for a sweep of these zones. You can see this is quite nice here as well because there's liquidity forming above here. Let's see if we get a sweep. No, we don't. Price actually sweeps the lows first, which is really nice. So now things are looking really good. We don't have any change of character though. We would need price to take out this zone here for a change of character. But I do like the way that it's reacted. And I, in fact, probably just with experience, I would have entered on something here potentially. Okay, so this is today. Okay, so we've actually run out of price action on today. What I would have actually liked to see is a break of this. And then we could look to get long and fill up this gap. I really like how it grabbed liquidity right here. So let's have a look at yesterday. So again, we only trade in this blue zone and we cut off here at 4 o'clock, which is my time. Also guys, this indicator works independent of your time zone. So I have it set to UTC +2, which is South Africa time. You can have it set to your time zone, but this blue here is London open. Okay, and this works independent of whatever time zone you have. So you can see here the highest point is right here, and we've had a liquidation of that. And so now I would be looking for price to break this zone so that we can get short, and it does. And so here is an example of what I was saying when it comes to extremities. Here is the fair value gap on the extremity. There is a fair value gap just below here as well, right here. Okay, there's a gap here, it's a small one. Okay, but we cannot use that because it's not the furthest one away. Okay, so that is what I mean by the extremities. We need the one that is furthest up. So we're going to give a bit of breathing room. So right now, the stop loss is at 370 pips on US 30. So we're going to give just a little breathing room. Okay, which would be, I would say, give it an extra 10 pips, blanket, and then we target 1 to 2 risk reward. In fact, I think an extra 5 is okay. So here's, yeah, so we're going to do 42. Okay, 420 pips, which is 42 points. Okay, so we're tagged into the position. Let's see how this one plays out. And very nicely. So you can see we caught that move on US 30. And the nice thing about this, guys, is those of you who are trading in London session, you can get into these positions when the sweep happens in London session and just let it go. You don't need to manage the position. Just set your TPs and your stop loss and you just let it run. Okay, so here we indeed have a winner. Let's just wait for my emojis. I like my emojis. So here we've got a winner. Okay, and now let's go to the day before. So we've now got this as our highest point in the Asian session. Let's see if we get a sweep of this. We do. So now I would be looking for price to change character right here. Now the change of character will be valid over here. And we get a break. And now I would be looking to go short right here. At the gap, there is no gap above, so that is the gap at the extremity, so we would have already been tagged in. I'm going to give an extra 5 pips, so 31 pip stop loss, and we're targeting 1 to 2 risk reward. And now we would literally just enter, set our targets, and go about our day. And there you go. And you can see, guys, that these positions, actually this went to full 5 risk reward, guys. So right there you would have passed the verification on your evaluation. So, and then this one I think also went crazy far, but we stick to our trade plan. So there's another win. Okay, so here we've got the next scenario. We would want a sweep of either of these zones or this zone here. That is technically the lowest point. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, so we've swept here. It's going really far down, so I would want price to change character here before getting in. And yes, it does, but I mean, that's really crazy. And obviously that was a news release. There is a gap right here. Let's see if this one works out. So we would get in here with stops, an extra 5 pips, and 1 to 2. Okay, so we tagged in. It's reacting to that point, which is nice, but we get taken out. Okay, so that is our first loss. Okay, now let's have a look at the next scenario. So here we've got our sweep. It's quite nice because there's actually equal lows here. Here's a low, here's a low. Let's see if we get our change. We've gonna have the sweep right here. Okay, and now we're looking for a change of character. Now if price breaks this level here, that would be our change of character, and we got it. And this here is the gap. Well, there is actually no gap here. I thought there would be a gap, so let's wait for a further break. So here I would be looking for a break. Okay, so here is the gap. On the extremity we had the break. Okay, and now we would be entering long. Our stop's just below with an extra 5 pips for breathing room. Okay, and a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. And there you go. Again, the ones that really run. So if you wanted to, you could literally take partials here and let the rest run and try and get to a 1 to 5. Again, that's something you need to test. But for me, with my risk appetite, I like to just take everything off the table at a 1 to 2. But that is up to you, and you need to back test it and go over data to determine what's going to be, firstly, more profitable. And it might be more profitable to take stuff off the table at a later stage. But if it doesn't work for you psychologically, go for what works for you psychologically. And for me, 1 to 2 is best. Okay, so we got another winner there. So let's have a look at the next example. And again, these are days in succession, so I'm not cherry picking anything. Okay, so let's see. We get a sweep of this zone, and now I would be looking to go long. If we get a break, I would actually prefer this zone to be broken. Now, I would like this zone to be broken. And now it is this zone. Okay, so we've got a nice break here. Here is our fair value gap, and we actually have already been tagged in. If we were following the rules, it would be right here. This is the gap, and just to be safe, we will cover the lows, and 40 is with the gap for our breathing room. So now we tagged in, and there you go. You can see it actually came back to fetch a little bit more. So there is a 1 to 2. So guys, I'm actually like a little bit shocked by how well the strategy works. And for those of you who are wanting to trade indices, but you're in a different time zone where you cannot, you don't have access to trading during the New York session, this really, really works so well. Also, it's on the 5-minute time frame, so you don't need to be watching the chart for 4 hours straight. You can set your alerts and just let it go, and that's exactly how I trade it. So, for example, this is the highest point, and this is the lowest point. So I'll set my alerts at these levels and just literally wait for the alert to go off. Then I'm on the chart looking for that change of character. So there's a nice building of a liquidity at this point. We're going to wait for the sweep. So now I would be looking for price to break this level for the change of character. Now it will be this level. Okay, so now we've got an interesting point. You can see price broke up here. So I would actually be happy if price broke this nicely. Okay, nope. Price is continuing up. Okay. Let's see if price breaks. It's tapped into this zone here. So let's see if we get a gap. There is a small gap here. Let's see if we can get into a position, because this meets our criteria. Again, 5 pips for breathing room, and we're targeting 1 to 2 risk reward. Okay, so this candle would have tagged us in right here. You can see that candle tagged us in. It's possible that we could have been missed out because of spreads, but as you can see, it was there. And in fact, I had mine a little bit higher up. So it just proves, guys, that this really freaking works, and I'm actually insanely impressed. I trade the New York session mostly, but this is actually proving to be really, really profitable. Let's have a look at the previous day. I think we probably would have already passed an evaluation. Let's see. Let's get one more winner. Let's get one more winner, guys. So this is the high, and this is the low. No, we've actually got another point, but it's not really a swing. It's a bit awkward. Let's see if we get the sweep. I like the liquidity building here. So if price breaks this, then I will look to... Okay, now I will look for this. See, I like this big push here, but obviously it has not broken yet. And here we go. Let's see. Oh, okay. So there was, so this candle, if we go back one, this candle did really break structure, but obviously there's no third candle that will give us a gap. So we are now waiting for price to break. Obviously this must have been some kind of news event. Okay, so we're still carrying on. Most likely there's going to be no entry here, but and we're now going into New York session. So, but yeah, the price goes completely the opposite way. So let's go to the previous day. So we have got this here, and we have got lows. Now, I would personally look at this because it's such a significant low, but if we're following the rules, this here would be the area. So let's see if we get a sweep. So it looks like price wants to sweep here, which isn't technically part of our rules, but you can already see it starting to accumulate. Okay, so we would technically be waiting for down here, but because I know there's so much liquidity sitting here, let's just for interest's sake see what happens. Again, disclaimer guys, before you attack me in the comments, this is not part of the rules, but I can see this is the swing, and this is kind of sitting in the middle of nowhere, guys. Also, look at this gap here. Okay, this gap is what it's reacting to. This must have been a Monday morning, most likely. A Wednesday, never mind. So this was what we call a volatility gap. Okay, the market moved so fast that it created a gap. And so price is reacting to this gap, and price needed to come back and fill this gap. Okay, so I would get in here with a, give it a, this is quite a wide stop loss, but give it an extra 5 and a 1 to 2. So we're looking for a pretty big move here. 162 points, 1,600 pips. Let's see what happens with this position. And I was proven wrong, guys, so stick to the rules. I didn't stick to the rules and I got burnt. Okay, so let's see if we get the actual entry now as according to our rules. Okay, so there you go. There's the change of character. And here is the gap, so we would enter right here as part of our rules. However, we are out of session, but let's just see if it plays out, guys. Again, stop loss is pretty massive. Just a disclaimer as well, this is not valid either. Okay. And there you go, guys. This is why you stick to the rules, okay? Firstly, because again, this was not the lowest point. This was the lowest point. We hit the lowest point, but the change of character happened out of session. And that's why I have these rules in place. So that is just an illustration for you guys on why you should follow the rules. Now let's go to the previous day. We won't count those trades because they were outside of our rules, okay? And I was not going to count them if they worked out either. So let's have a look. Okay, there is the sweep. You can see that's our lowest point, and it changes character here when it breaks this point. And this is our gap right here. Okay, our stop is down here. Add an extra 5 pips for breathing room. And we target 1 to 2. So this was according to our rules, and we did take a loss on this position. So let's have a look at another day. Okay, so here is our sweep. So here is actually an entry because we got the break after the sweep. Okay, and so this would have been a losing trade as well. So let's hop on to the next day. I'm not cherry picking any of these trades, guys. I'm just following the rules. So there will be losing days and there will be losing streaks as well. but overall you will be profitable. So let's have a look at this next day. Out. Okay, so let us see. We got a sweep here. And so we would be looking for price to come and break structure, which it does. Okay, so we've had the break, but price is moving very efficiently. There's no gaps. So let us see if we get a gap. But price looks like it wants to sweep some more. So if price sweeps this, then we can look. Okay, so we got another break, and the highest extremity gap is right here, and so we can target, use this as the high. Actually, the stop isn't that big, so we can go a bit higher. So we'll put a 35 pip stop because we're giving an extra 5 pips for breathing room, and we target 1 to 2. Let's see how this plays out. And so we go to about 1 to 1, and then we hit a loss. Okay, let's go on to the next day. So we're in a little bit of a losing streak here, guys. Again, that's part of the strategy. You can't win all of the trades in the strategy, but overall, if you stick to the rules, you will be profitable. And that's something you have to keep telling yourself. You really do. Okay, so we've swept already. We're looking for the change of character. And we've got it here. Okay, and we've got a nice displacement as well. So we would enter right at this point. And we're looking for a 1 to 2. Okay, so we're tagged in. And finally, we've got the winner. And again, guys, if you were in a losing streak, you could have taken some profits, which we were at, and you guys could have literally held it for 1 to 7. So, but we're just taking, with our strategy, we're just taking two risk reward for every trade that we are trading. So we are now going to end the session, okay, and let's tally up what our winnings were for this session. Up the results, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 winners, and we got 3 losers. And even if we count these losses here that we took that were not part of these rules that I had set out, where are they? Anyway, the rules that I had written out in the beginning, okay, which I suggest you guys go and test. But just by the looks of this test, guys, it's really crazily profitable, guys. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winners, okay? 6 winners, actually. I miscounted there. And 3 losers. We could have potentially taken an extra 2 losses there if we were trading with discretion. But we're trading against our trading plan. So we would have literally made 9%. So yeah, 9%, and we would have passed as long as we were risking 1% per trade. So that is the London trading plan, guys. So you can trade London open with the Judas swing, just using these settings. If you want to see the settings again, here they are. London and New York, just set them to these times, okay, and change the colors to whatever colors you want. Make sure Tokyo and Sydney is switched off. So that's it, you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do remember to go down below and leave a thumbs up and subscribe as well, guys. So many of you guys aren't subscribed that are watching these videos. I really, really appreciate you guys watching these videos. So, guys, everybody that has been watching and supporting me so far, thank you so much. I will see you in the next video.